Hello, this is Yon Sensei. In today's tutorial, we are going to learn some more basic skills for Rhino's 2D and 3D commands. This is the second video of the series. If you haven't seen the first one, you should watch the getting started video before you watch this video. We will be using a tutorial file which you can find in the description of this video. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we see is draw shapes with polyline. So polyline tool is this one right here. This kind of pointy lines. And what this tool does is that it's going to give you a good kind of clean line that is controlled by these sharp corners, and you can draw architectural objects like walls and other things using this one. So this is very useful. Second one is curve. So if you click on this tool, which is regular curve. So this one, what this one does is that it will draw a very smooth line, not necessarily going through wherever you have clicked. So this has a little bit of character to it. If you use the interpolate point curves, this one is going to be pretty true to what you have clicked, but it does deform the shape quite a bit. So you should know which curve is going to give you what kind of effect, and use them differently accordingly. And there are other curve tools inside of this box, and try a lot of different ones, and check it out. Sketch is probably like, as long as you're dragging your mouse, it's going to draw, and then eventually it will smooth it out for you. That's kind of cool. So those are the curve tools in Rhino. So more kind of like technically, it says draw 20 by 10 rectangle. So you can click on this one, and then type, click on the left side, and then type 20 inches, 20 inch, and then enter. So when you do that, the distance is going to be constrained for 20 inch. So you can select whichever you want to go and hold shift and click. Next, you can type 10 inch and hold shift and enter. 20 inch, enter, shift, click. So that's how you draw 20 by 10 rectangle. Next one is going to be drawing a 20 inch line. This one is parallelogram, and so that height is 10. Okay, so I can just take this one, type copy, enter, and then click from here and type 10 inch for the distance on the height. Hold shift. Okay, now we can move this line by 10 inch right here. So single click on this red arrow and type 10 inch, and now you have it. So after that, you can click on this edge and this edge to close this line, but it's not quite accurate. So what I would like to do is find object snapping at the bottom left corner on the Macintosh, and for Windows there should be at the bottom side that says OSnap. And what you can do is, if you turn on the endpoint for object snapping, you can snap the polyline end to this part and this part. So you can draw these lines pretty easily and accurately. So draw a circle with 10 inch, 20 inch, 40 inch diameter. So circle tool right here. Click on the center, and diameter 10. Diameter is 10 inch. So the rate, but Rhino is asking for radius, so it should be 5 inch. Since our unit for the for this drawing, for this file, is inches, which you can check here, inches. On Windows, there should be somewhere around at the bottom. So we don't have to type inch symbol. So every time. So if it is millimeter, you don't have to type millimeter symbol. So now it's our object file is in inches. So just click and type 10 for 10-inch radius. Click 20 for 20-inch radius. Okay, so that's good. Next one is draw a quarter arc with 20 inch of radius. So this is the arc tool, and then you can click on the center and then type 20 inch for radius. I didn't have to type the symbol, and and hold shift and click at the top, hold shift and click at the right. So with this you can draw an arc. What's cool about arc tool is that you can just use the arc tool to kind of like draw this kind of like, long exposure star map kind of, thing. That's kind of cool. So, try it and have fun with it. Okay, so that is that. And the next part, draw a triangle. So triangle is everything, all of the polygonal shapes are here. Okay, so when you click on polygon tool, how many sides does a triangle has? Triangle has 3 sides. Enter, and then number of sides to be 3, and so it's got you can draw a 3-sided triangle. All triangles are 3-sided. Now, draw a pentagon, and draw a hexagon, draw an octagon, draw a polygon with 100 sides. So this part is pretty self-explanatory. So why don't you just pause the video and work on that part, and just when you're finished, you can start running the video again. Okay. So okay. So after that, curve edit. Curve edit is really interesting. So this one, you can just, on Rhino 6, you can actually click on the object and it shows the control points of the curves. But what you can do is click on this and press F10 on your keyboard, function 10, F10. Or you can type PON as the points on, PON. So that shows these control points. So whenever you want to edit a curve, you can, take this one, use this one, show the control points, and then, modify the shape. And when you're done, you can just simply press Escape key on your keyboard, Escape, and it will go away. So using this technique, please go ahead and draw change the shape of this banana to an apple. Okay, in the next one we are going to do offset command, and offset command is going to let you offset curves. So the command is offset. You can type the command, or you can find the tool from offset curve here. Either way. So if I want to offset this curve at 1 inch this way, you can do that. And you can repeat the last command by clicking on this and pressing space. You can do it this way too. So that's nice in terms of creating the curves in equal distance. So you can do that with this one, and change the number to like 2 and or 3 or 3 or 4. So you can really create offset curves using different numbers. Next one is fillet, and fillet is a great tool in a way that it extends a curve and then also connects with each other. So fillet, type fillet, and so if you fillet click on this one, and click on this side of this curve. Oh, it didn't do it. So let's start with the radius to be 0. Okay, so on Windows you can still type the numbers on the top command line. So click on this one and click on this one. So it extends and connects with these two lines. And so since we typed the fillet number to be 0, it's a pointy number. But if you change the radius to be, like, for example, 2 inches, 2 inch, and then it will create this kind of rounded thing. Okay, so you can try like 3 and then see what happens between these two. So you can really create, the curves with rounded corners, or boxes with rounded corners with this. Okay, next one is the trim command. Trim command is extremely useful command in a way that it lets you really, trim out lines. The way you do it is you can select the cutting object first. So you click on the box first, press enter, and then outside of the box, so you can click on the part that you would like to trim. Okay, and vice versa. But what's cool about trim command is that you can select the whole thing and then just type, click on the part that you would like to delete. So it's very, very flexible. Okay, that's gonna save us. Okay, so the next part is extend. Extend is a really good command to extend the lines. So you can select this, type extend, and then first you select the curve to boundary curve. So you can click on this curve first, press enter, and then you can click on these curves to so that they will extend to this line. Okay. Another thing that you could do is you can create this kind of wavy line that is not uneven, and then run extend command, and then boundary object, and then click on these lines. Super nice. Okay, so next one is mirror command. So mirror command is super useful. So you can type mirror, and then click on this object, and then click this part, and then click this part to mirror copy. So you can, mirror copy these objects into different places. Cool, very nice. So, so we went through a series of 2D commands, and with this, for the next one, I would like you to give a challenge. And using all of these 2D commands that we have learned, I want you to draw a panda face of panda using this tool. And at the end of it, I would like you to share that with the class so we can all see it. Okay, so let's try that. Is the operational commands. So if you click on operational commands layer and click on OSnap for object snapping. So object snapping, we have talked a little bit about it before, but it lets you create files in a very, very accurate way by snapping to exact location. So we can take a look at this. So if your object snapping is disabled on the right here at the bottom of the screen, unclick it and activate this. And also, if it was on the Windows, it will be shown at the bottom side of the screen, and it says OSnap. So let's take a look at each object snapping. So endpoint, it will snap to the endpoint of the curve. So if you start drawing a curve, it will find endpoint of the curve. Okay, very nice. So it works for moving object as well. So if you type M for move, You can snap from endpoint to endpoint, so you can make it accurately. Point is a point object that you can draw, and so this will let you point to, point object. Okay, so point object is used when you're using a reference point for each position. Midpoint is pretty self-explanatory, so you can click to snap to the midpoint of the curve. Okay, center is really nice. So if you click on the center, you can snap to the center of the circle or arc. The tricky thing about center is that you don't get the center point when you move your mouse near the center point, but if you move your cursor to the edge of the circle, then it will snap to the center. So what that means is that sometimes it will snap to the position you're not really clicking. So I typically turn it off unless I need it. Okay. Number 5 is intersection. So intersection between curves. This is really nice. So you can snap between the to the intersection between different curves. So that's a nice command. Perp is actually really interesting. Perp is perpendicular. So perp is 90 degrees to the curve. So if you start drawing a curve, and it will find the perpendicular point to the curve. So this angle is 90 degrees. Tangent is tangent edge. So if you start drawing a curve, it will find the tangent point, which is the point where curve and the circle line and the curve intersect only one point, which is nice. Number 7, quadrant point is the full division of the curve. So 1/4 division point of the curve. Not is something that I don't really use, so you can ignore it. One thing, and the vertex is for polygon mesh, so we can talk about it. One thing is this near snap. So near, when you turn on near, it will snap to wherever is on the curve. And sometimes students like to use this, but when you turn this on, it gets very inaccurate. So I would recommend you to turn this one off. So that is object snapping. So make a use of object snapping. My typical setting is that I normally have end, point, midpoint, center of, intersection perp, tangent of, quadrant on. So this is kind of typical setting that I have. Okay, so you can just keep it going like this. Next one is dividing and copying. So divide command is going to let you divide the curve. So let's do that. So let's type divide. And when you type it, you can type number of segments. So I'm going to type 10. So divide it by 10 points. So what it does is that it doesn't actually separate or separate the curve, but it only creates these reference points. So so that we can, these are equal division points of the curve. So using this tool, we can just run copy command and then copy this object from this point to this point to this point to this point. So that way we can create an object that has consistent kind of spacing in between. So that is nice. Moving objects precisely. It's actually on the next layer. So I want you to try 2 different ways of copying objects. So for example, if you move this object from point A to point B, what you would do is just drag the object to here, to here, to here, to here, to here, to here, from here to here. Okay, and it looks good from this view, but if you zoom into this, you can never get it accurate. Okay, so you keep trying, and then you zoom out, it looks great, but if you zoom in, then it's always off. So what you need to do is you need to use move command. And move command has a shortcut of just typing M on your keyboard, and pressing enter. Okay, so that will activate the move command. So first, Rhino asks object to move. Click on this one, press enter, and then point to move from. So with the object snapping enabled, you can go from endpoint to the point. Okay, activate move command from endpoint to the point, and activate from point to point. So that is very nice. Okay, so that would be moving object with precision, with accuracy. Next command is ZEA and ZSA. So these commands are extremely useful, and I want you to try that. So what happens is when you have like a lot of objects in your file, and you kind of lose your file, and we don't know where your file is. So if that happens, find a way to select one object from somewhere and type ZSA. What that means is zoom selected all. So it will zoom, Rhino is going to zoom all of the selected objects to every view. So all views. So in 4 views, we have objects zoomed in. And then what's nice about it is object is going to, rotate around this selected portion. So that's really nice. Another way to do it is ZEA. And ZEA, what it does is that zoom extends all. So if you type ZEA, then it will center around all of the existing objects in the file. So that's very, very useful. So I hope this is going to be useful. So when you have a lot of elements in your file, and when it gets super confusing, you can use this tool to recenter this. I think I use this command like 10 times a day. So I hope it helps. Commands, and there are inside of this box command, there are a lot of things that you can do. So box corner to corner height, and draw 20 inch by 20 inch by 20 inch using box command. So you can type 20, enter, 20, enter, and 20, enter to create a 20 by 20 by 20 cube. Okay, so follow these text and draw all of the things that are being asked to draw here. Okay, so I will go to the next one. So the next one is a very, very tricky one, and that requires some explanation. So there is this little button says project right here. And this one is extremely important. On Windows, it's laid out horizontally. So what this does is that it's going to let you project whatever the operations for the movement and copying and drawing into flat plane versus drawing it in 3-dimensionally. So in this view, we have these 3 cubes, and if we are drawing, for example, on the top view, we don't have any control over where I am drawing this. So in terms of the depth, we have no idea what this is, right? And so when you select this curve, so these are drawn to the endpoints of these cubes. But we had no idea where these lines are going to go when you're drawing on the top view. So if you have the project snapping on, what happens is that you draw this, and you can see it in the perspective view as well. Click, 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 click. And this line is projected or flattened on the construction plane. So these are the difference. So this will also apply to, like, creating, for example, if you're drawing a sphere, for example, with project on. it will always draw on the bottom. Okay, but if you have the project off and draw spheres, it will always draw on whatever the point that snaps to. So you can really control how object behaves in the depth dimension using this tool. So this is super useful. So please use this. Okay. Related to that is a project command. So project command is really cool command that is going to. So I have this surface right here, and if I run project command, I can project this line onto this surface. So to do that, I will click on this line and type project, and then click on this object. Okay, so now these lines are projected onto this surface. That's nice. So I am going to also project this circle onto this surface. So project this one onto this surface. So that way, if you look at this circle has been projected onto this surface. One thing that you need to be careful is that when you're running project command, it needs to be inside of the view that you're projecting. Okay, so if I am projecting in front view, this will be projected to this direction, and it will become this curve. Okay, but if you are projecting this circle, it needs to be done inside of the right view. Okay, so that is that. Next up is planar surf command. Planar surf command is a very useful tool that it is going to convert from, it will convert closed curve into a surface, closed planar curve into surface. So if I run this command, this will become a surface. That's nice. And I do it this one, that works. But if I do it on this one, planar surf command wouldn't work. And when you get an error like this, you will receive an error message at the bottom. So it says no faces were made, curve must be closed and planar. So what that means is that this curve was not closed. So what you can do then is type close curve. Okay, close curve. And then it will, the curve has been closed by adding this line segment. So you can run planar surf command. Okay, so we can try this one, and planar surf command. It doesn't give me closed curve. And the reason for this is that this curve is not planar or flat. So what you can do is you can run project to C-plane command. So what it does is that it's going to flatten this curve onto the C-plane or construction plane. So when I run this command and delete input object, yes, and then it has been flattened, and then you can run planar surf command. Very nice. Okay. So what's next? Next one is pipe command, and pipe command is super cool. So you can create a pipe from a curve object. So I'm going to type pipe, and then pipe radius to be maybe 0.5, and it will create pipe. So this one works for various conditions, like you can just draw a line and run pipe command. Okay, so this is super nice. Next one is fillet edge, and fillet edge is really cool. So what it does is that it's going to create a rounded corner for this surface. So they need to be joined together. So you can run fillet edge command. Fillet edge command. And then before clicking it, you have to specify the radius. So I'm going to specify this to be 2 inch radius, and then click on this. and then it will create round corner. You can do this for multiple one fillet edge, and then I will specify the radius to be 3, and then select all of them, and then it will create this kind of rounded corner. The most common mistake that people make is that when you do fillet edge, the radius is too big. So if I type like 20 or something for the edge, Rhino is going to freak out. Okay, so it needs to be, the radius needs to be smaller than the half of this length for this piece. So fillet edge maybe like do 4, and it will work. Okay, that's fillet edge. Offset surf command is a really nice command. It will add thickness to surfaces. So type offset surf, and then click on this object, and I can add 0.5 inch for the thickness, and click on solid option, and delete input, round corner, press enter again. So it added thickness to this object, which is nice. So that's offset surf. Okay. Next one is grouping and ungrouping. So it's nice that grouping works in a hierarchical way in Rhino. So I'm gonna click all of the red objects, type group, pink objects, group, green objects, group, blue objects, group, and then I'm gonna group between pink and red, group, and then green and blue, group, and everything, group. So now everything is grouped. So now you type ungroup once, and then it will be brought back to one hierarchy before, and then ungroup again, and then it becomes only green, and then you can ungroup it to become individual objects. So you can create the nested groups this way, so it's really nice. Next up is joining and exploding. And so there is a difference between join and group. And join is about openings of the object needs to be matched perfectly, and it will become closed object. And group can be separate objects. So you need to understand the difference. So in this case, what happens is that they have perfectly continuous same opening. So what you do is type M for move command and move it to here. And I had project off, that worked. If you have project on, move from here and then move again in the front view. So now they're perfectly touching each other. I can join them. So then it became joint object. And always check your property. So it says closed solid poly surface. So what that means is that this is joint and solid object. The opposite of join is explode. Explode. So what it does is that it explodes to trimmed surface. So what you can do is you can kind of move them apart from each other. And so it works nicely. So that's join and explode. Okay. So next one, I will switch to a lecture that is going to talk about the surface and polysurface. Rhino is a NURBS modeling software. What that means is that it's a non-uniform rational basis spline. It doesn't make any sense, right? So the only thing that you need to remember is the basic philosophy of Rhino. So Rhino's, the minimum kind of unit is point. So it starts with points in 3-dimensional coordinations. And multiple points will define curves. So this line is defined by this point and this point. And multiple curves will define surface. So this curve has this surface has this curve and this surface. And then multiple surfaces joined together is called polysurface. And so these are the basic components of Rhino. There are several other things, but this is the basic thing. So what that means is that every object has root in point, and then it will become lines, and it will become surface and polysurface. One thing that you need to know is that curves and lines can be edited by control points on. So you can move around this control point, and so as surfaces. So you can modify this surface by changing the control points. Okay. However, you cannot turn on control points for polysurface. So polysurfaces are not editable as control points. So that's one thing that you need to remember. So with that in our mind, let's look at this object and bring the property tab right here on the right side. And typically, when you click on the object, it will tell you what it is. So closed solid polysurface. So closed solid polysurface cannot be, if you type PON as points on, Rhino says cannot turn on points for polysurfaces. So you can only turn on the control point for surface objects. So how to convert from polysurface to surface is explode. So now if you click on the object, then it's a trimmed surface. So you can select the individual one and then type PON, and then it will bring control points. So you can take these control points and then use this handle which says green and red, and then you can open up this one and type PON again. It's better if they are done one by one. If you select multiple objects and type PON, it gets very confusing. So do it separately. Okay, PON, and then select these control points. Open it up. PON. And to turn off control points, you can simply press escape a couple times, so it's off. So now they're single objects, so you can get them to join. Okay, so that is that. Next part is aligning objects. So we can just do it on the top view. So align blue objects to the left. So I will select all of the blue objects, type align, and then click left. And then you can select where that is going to go. Red object to the top. Align top. And green objects. Vertical center. And pink to be horizontal center. Okay, so that's aligning. Next one is dimensions. So dimensions is a super cool tool to really understand how this will work. You can simply click on this dimension tool or type dim. And then let's turn on project. So in this case, I can just draw dimensions here, 12 inches, 18 inches. And then I'm going to go to the front view and run dimension on the top view. But in this case, I had the project on, so it didn't draw on this cube. So in this case, what I can do is turn off project and then run the dimension again. And it drew on the cube. Okay, so that's nice. So now next thing that I would like to do is to get the dimensions on the triangle. So if I run the dimensions onto this triangle, it does something a little bit weird. right? So it's not really giving me the actual length of this triangle, so that's not good. So in this case, we have to find another dimension tool that is aligned dimension. So aligned dimension is going to let you select these objects diagonally and then give you dimensions. Okay, so the last thing that I would like to do is angle dimension. So click on angle dimension, click one corner, another corner, and that will give you angle dimension. This is super useful when you're doing, like home improvement projects or drawing your rooms and stuff. So that would be nice. So this will conclude the part that is 3D commands.